if you will. I know there's a lot to digest here, but just big picture, what's your biggest takeaway of what transpired here tonight?
I mean, it was tough. Emotions are high for these fighters, and people don't understand. These guys are modern-day gladiators. These are their teammates, and after he beat Conor, he was trash-talking Conor. And when you look to his corner, Conor's corner, it was Dylan Dennis, a very vocal mixed martial artist, provoking Khabib. And, of course, he needs to be professional, but emotions are high. Khabib jumped over. People jumped in. It was tragic, but at the same time, a very impressive win for Khabib. Too bad we didn't get to wrap the title around his waist and see what we wanted to see and hear what he had to say and hear what Conor had to say about this.
Yeah, he was robbed of that moment because he jumped over. Probably should have kept his emotions in check. Also worth noting that once he was over the cage, members of Khabib's team ran into the cage, jumped into the cage, and started to confront Conor. Punches were thrown. It seemed like Conor was jumped as well. In the end, Dana White, as he just said, opted to not put the belt around Khabib's waist. And I want to ask you about this because I know a lot of the fans out there who might be watching this may not be MMA historians like you and I. But back in 2010 in Nashville, Tennessee, there was an event called Strike Force, and a very good friend of yours named Jake Shields fought in the main event against Dan Henderson. As he was doing his post-fight interview, a guy by the name of Jason Mayhem Miller,
yes,
fellow fighter, jumped in there, and a huge brawl ensued. And you were in the cage. You witnessed this firsthand. Up until tonight, I thought that was the worst night in the history of the sport. I feel like this incident overtakes that. Do you agree?
Listen, yes, it does. It does, because this went outside the cage, and that was an unfortunate moment for myself, but there's something called a warrior's code. Nothing that I'm proud of or whatnot, but you have to support your friends, support your teammates. People sometimes don't understand that, and what Mayhem did was aggression towards my teammate. We told him to step back. He jumped on us. Nick and Nate Diaz got involved. Jake Shields, myself. We got suspended 3 to 6 months. We got fined about $10,000 each. But what we did not do is exit the octagon, exit the cage. We didn't jump over and get spectators involved, civilians involved, kids involved, people involved. That is the tragic part about this.
Okay, and the other thing, as I just mentioned, is we should be sitting here right now just talking about what Khabib did. He defeated Conor. He settled the score. He submitted him in the 4th round. For the most part, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. I had the 2nd round 10-8 for Khabib. I thought Conor rebounded nicely in the 3rd and maybe won the round, and that would be the first time that Khabib loses a round in his UFC career. But overall, are you impressed with what Khabib did out there against Conor McGregor?
Oh, very impressed with what he did. Very impressed that he got the first takedown in the 1st round within 30 seconds. A little disappointed that Conor was so aggressive and didn't respect that takedown. I think he had an opportunity to disengage from that. He did a very good job himself, Conor McGregor. I didn't expect him to defend himself and get back up. He weathered the storm very big time in the 2nd round. He was getting pounded out there, but blocking himself and stayed in the fight. Showed him evolving. That shows how good Khabib is. And he also landed a big right hand of his own. Shows he's a complete mixed martial artist. That was some of the highest level fighting we saw out there. Yes, very impressed by Khabib.
Yeah, Conor defended 4 of Khabib's takedowns, and I think that's notable. And even earlier in the night, I was talking to Chael Sonnen, our colleague, and he thinks that if you give Conor 4 more months to prepare, now that he's been in there with Khabib, that he can actually win this fight, that he can actually beat him in the rematch. Do you share that assessment?
I think a lot of times the person who has the advantage is the person who was defeated. They can go back and look at the tapes and say, what did I do wrong? Khabib can go look at the tape and said, this is everything I did right. I got to do the same thing. And I think if Conor looks at that tape, he won't come forward. He'll be very light on the feet, respect the takedown, land single shots, not try to go for the kill and go forward so much, try to score points, chop him down. And yes, I think he can evolve and get better at the wrestling takedown. I still think it was a mistake for him to engage in the very first takedown. He was defending it, but he was wrestling with him. He needed to get, I think there was an opportunity for a turnaround and kick out. Easier said than done, but yes, Conor's a remarkable fighter, and he was impressive. He did do a lot more than we thought he would do in the wrestling department.
So if you're UFC and you're Dana White and you have to decide what to do now with Khabib Nurmagomedov,
what about he talk about my religion, he talk about my country, he talk about my father. He come to Brooklyn and he broke bus, he almost killed couple people. What about this? What about I jump over the cage? Why people still talk about this? Like, I don't understand. I am respect. My father teach me, hey, you have to be always respectful. My old team, where I'm training California 7 years, everybody know who I am. All my friends, like everybody who know me, they know who I am, you know. And I told you guys, these guys, not only him, his whole team and him, they top machines. You know, I told you guys, when you put him wrong way, you know, like people little bit, it's not people, I think it's media a little bit change MMA. This is respect sport, you know, this is not trash talking sport, this is respect. So like I told you before, guys, I want to change this game. I don't want to people talk like religion. You cannot talk about religion, you cannot talk about nation, you know, guys, you cannot talk about this stuff. And you know, this is for me is very important. And thank you so much, thank you guys, thank you for waiting for me here. I know my father gonna smash me when I go home, because I know he's gonna smash me. And Nevada, sorry. Vegas, sorry. And Alhamdulillah, undisputed, undefeated UFC lightweight champion. Thank you so much. And I'm very proud about, like all media talk about, he take picture with Putin, something like this. He just called me and he said he very proud of me. I win. And he said congratulations. And you know, I told you guys, everything I'm gonna change 6 October, and I do this. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much.
Khabib, can you talk about the fight before the brawl?
So Khabib Nurmagomedov, not taking any questions, made a statement and then left after all the altercations and melees following the actual brawl. Mike Tyson taking to Twitter that he's watching the fight. Unimaginable, never thought it would go down like this. Crazier than my fight riot. Tyson had his share of incidents in the ring. You remember him biting Evander Holyfield and other incidents when he was on top as a heavyweight boxer.
More from Vegas on the way. We'll see if we hear from Conor McGregor tonight. Khabib's words were short, not so sweet, and he left. See if McGregor is up next to the mic. Stay with us.